Your Mental Powerhouse, inspired by Manly P. Hall. Our understanding of the mind is limited because we can only comprehend its abilities when we use it. Imagine the mind as a leader who gradually gains control over all the tools we use to learn and develop. In this way, we can think of the mind as a machine, often referred to as the machine of the 6 sensory perceptions, because it processes information from our senses. It's clear that the mind is a tool, not the core of who we are. It doesn't represent our true selves or always give accurate information. Instead, it works like a computer, processing data in a series of steps. First, it takes in information, then organizes and evaluates it to draw conclusions. It seems that the mind operates within its own limits and cannot go beyond them. It's a fact that if you purchase a low-quality computer, it won't perform well. Similarly, if you go through life with a simple or unrefined mind, your achievements may be limited. But there's good news. We can develop and improve our mental abilities. We can become wiser in our thoughts and learn to control our minds better through practice and discipline. This way, we can enhance our overall performance and make better decisions in life. Just like someone who uses a computer needs to understand how it works and solve any issues that come up, the same goes for our minds. We often take our minds for granted, assuming they'll work fine without any effort. However, this isn't a safe assumption. Our minds are like tools that need attention, understanding, and guidance. They should be enlightened as much as possible and kept in check by something higher than themselves. This idea is deeply rooted in ancient Indian philosophy, which emphasizes the need for something beyond our everyday existence to guide us toward a fulfilling life. We must act as operators, not just for computers, but also for our minds, ensuring they are used effectively and don't fall into mediocrity. This requires constant observation, learning, and discipline to reach our full potential. It's crucial not to just drift through life, learning little and facing many challenges, only to end up barely better off than when we started. Experience matters, but only if we truly grasp its lessons. Every aspect of life provides us with valuable information if we know how to extract it. In our quest for knowledge and experience, it's crucial to understand that simply engaging in activities like reading books or traveling may not automatically lead to deep understanding. For example, while reading books can be beneficial, it's equally important to read selectively and thoughtfully. Otherwise, we might not gain much insight or expand our understanding. Similarly, traveling to different places can broaden our perspectives through what we see and feel. However, it's possible to journey around the world and return without gaining a deep understanding of humanity or the diverse cultures we encounter. When it comes to reading, the key lies in choosing material that challenges us, introduces new ideas, and encourages critical thinking. Merely skimming through books or reading without reflecting on the content may not contribute significantly to our knowledge or intellectual growth. Likewise, in travel, the quality of the experience often depends on how we engage with the places we visit. Simply ticking off destinations on a checklist doesn't guarantee meaningful insights or cultural understanding. It's essential to immerse ourselves in local customs, engage with diverse perspectives, and reflect on our experiences to truly appreciate the richness of different cultures. The issues we face trace back to how our senses work, which Buddhism identifies as the 5 primary senses: sight, hearing, taste, touch, and smell. These senses act as pathways for information to enter our minds, much like how data goes into a computer. These sensory channels continuously interact with each other and influence how a person behaves. For instance, we can see, hear, taste, touch, and smell various things, but if we don't assess their importance or value, we may miss out on valuable insights. In other words, simply perceiving things isn't enough. We must also understand their significance to make meaningful use of the information they provide. Having access to educational opportunities is important, but it's equally crucial to be open to learning. You can go through years of schooling, even graduate with top honours, but still lack understanding if you don't engage earnestly with the material. The value of education can vary. Sometimes it's fleeting or shallow, while other times it profoundly shapes our lives. When we approach education with sincerity and a genuine desire to learn, everything we encounter becomes a valuable contribution to our growth. It's not just about the credentials or accolades, it's about how deeply we internalize and apply what we've learned to enrich our lives and the lives of others. In Zen philosophy, our experiences through our senses undergo a process of filtering through various disciplines. This process helps us arrive at the understanding that the present moment is what matters most. However, this truth may not always be pleasant or easy to accept, leading us to try to avoid or ignore it throughout our lives. Yet the essence of life lies in uncovering its meaning, in gradually integrating our abilities constructively through the evidence we gather. This means learning to appreciate the true worth of our everyday experiences and facing our own imperfections with acceptance and willingness to grow. By acknowledging our shortcomings, we can identify areas in our character that need development, preventing potential tragedies that stem from our unresolved issues. Thus, the journey in Zen involves not just understanding the present reality, but also embracing our flaws and striving for personal and spiritual growth. When we use a computer wisely, we can accomplish many tasks. However, it's important to recognize that no matter how sophisticated our use of technology is, it's limited to dealing with external aspects of life. Just like any physical tool or instrument, a computer has its boundaries. For example, think about a telescope. It can help astronomers see far into space and gather valuable information, yet the telescope itself can't comprehend what it observes. It needs a skilled astronomer to interpret its findings. Similarly, when we use a computer, we must be in control, guiding its functions to achieve our goals. Likewise, when it comes to our minds, we must understand that the intellect is just one aspect of our being. To lead a fulfilling life, we need to be superior to our thoughts and emotions, guiding them with wisdom and purpose. We shouldn't let our minds dictate our actions. Instead, we should take charge and direct our thoughts towards constructive paths. This requires a level of self-awareness and mastery over our mental faculties. One of life's enduring mysteries is how to effectively lead our minds. Throughout history, people have grappled with this question, seeking answers to the puzzle of mental guidance. So far, the prevailing idea is that there exists something beyond the mind that serves as a higher authority. Some refer to this as soul power, while others call it spirit. It's been viewed as a manifestation of divine essence by some. This higher entity is essential because without it, the mind can become like a dictator, ruling over our lives and driving us to fulfill its desires. It might convince us that its desires are the key to our happiness and compel us to pursue them relentlessly. Therefore, understanding and harnessing this higher power is crucial for achieving true fulfillment and preventing our minds from controlling us. It represents a deeper aspect of ourselves that guides us towards a more meaningful and balanced existence. Looking at this perspective, we see that many intelligent people face challenges. They often feel worried and scared, dealing with various anxieties that less developed minds may not yet understand. In simpler terms, if you're someone who leads a straightforward life without many complications, you likely have clear values and a strong sense of right and wrong. However, when the mind becomes too complex or overwhelmed, it can distort these values. It might confuse you to the point where you end up doing things you initially knew were wrong. This lack of mental discipline can lead us into temptations that seem appealing, but are ultimately harmful. Therefore, it's important to recognize that much of our inner life is influenced by external factors. Our surroundings, circumstances, and the physical world we live in play a significant role in shaping our thoughts and behaviors. Understanding this connection helps us navigate life's challenges with more awareness and control over our actions. As a person focuses more on material possessions, this emphasis becomes evident in how their senses perceive the world. They start to value wealth and desire luxurious homes. They may even seek to outdo others in extravagance. These attitudes are all rooted in the mind but can become overwhelming, eventually overshadowing moral values. This obsession with wealth can lead to a mindset where nothing else matters except money. Sadly, many people find themselves in this situation today. It's a common struggle worldwide, reflecting a widespread fixation on materialism that affects humanity as a whole. The average person's focus is mostly on physical aspects of life, ignoring anything beyond the tangible. Our daily activities and interests revolve around what we can see, touch, taste, hear, and smell. Through these senses, we gather information about our surroundings, identify friends and foes, understand what harms us, and learn what keeps us healthy. These 5 senses act as gateways through which we receive various inputs and experiences. They form the basis of our interactions with the world, shaping our perceptions and guiding our actions. If we were a bit more reflective, we could learn valuable lessons from our experiences. However, our minds often interpret events based on their preconceived notions and biases. Instead of using a situation to recognize our own flaws, our minds tend to shift blame onto others. Our minds are wired to protect their own beliefs and interests. They don't naturally transcend their own limitations. Therefore, we must work within the framework of our minds as they currently exist, rather than expecting them to rise above their usual patterns of thinking. Our 5 senses, sight, hearing, taste, touch, and smell, are like 5 pathways that let information from the outside world enter our minds, shaping our inner thoughts and feelings. These pathways are crucial to us, and it's important to keep them clear and open. Imagine these pathways as windows. If these windows get dirty or covered in soot, they won't give us a clear view or the right information. What tends to cloud these windows are prejudices, strong opinions, and excessive ego. Prejudice means having preconceived notions or judgments about something or someone before knowing all the facts. Excessive opinionism refers to being too attached to our own viewpoints and not being open to considering other perspectives. Excessive egoism means being overly focused on ourselves and our desires, sometimes at the expense of understanding others or the truth. So, to navigate life effectively, we need to keep our sensory pathways clear of these obstacles. We should strive to approach situations with an open mind, a willingness to learn, and a sense of humility, avoiding these hindrances that can distort our perception and understanding. These factors can make an experience seem meaningless even before it reaches our minds. Someone who believes they have no flaws, who thinks they are already successful and doing everything they want, may reject any information or signals that suggest otherwise. They might say to themselves, "I'm fine, I don't need to change anything." As a result, when warning signs or challenges arise, this person might dismiss them outright. Even if these signals manage to get through to their mind, their mental process may not properly process or acknowledge them. When our minds tackle problems, all 5 senses contribute information simultaneously. Sometimes 1 or 2 senses are more prominent, but often what we see, hear, and experience through our senses all merge into one perception. Among these senses, sight and hearing are the most relied upon and considered the basis of what we perceive as truth. For many of us, truth is defined by what we see with our eyes and hear with our ears. We tend to believe something is true if we see it with our own eyes, or if someone we trust and respect tells us it's true. This reliance on sight and hearing as sources of truth is deeply ingrained in how we understand the world around us. However, it's important to recognize that truth can be more complex and nuanced than what we perceive through our senses alone. Our senses can sometimes deceive us, and truth may require deeper investigation and critical thinking beyond what is immediately seen or heard. From an external perspective, hearing and seeing are the most significant influences and also the greatest distorters of our sensory experiences. When we see something, its literal appearance often carries little intrinsic meaning. It's the interpretation and symbolism attached to what we see that holds the real significance. The truths, values, and essence of life are not tangible. They cannot be directly seen or heard. Instead, we can only observe the effects or actions that reflect these deeper truths. However, as soon as we interpret what we see or hear, we inevitably alter its natural truth. Our interpretations are influenced by our beliefs, biases, and understanding, which can sometimes obscure or distort the true essence of what we perceive. The challenge lies in seeing things as they truly are, without distortion or bias. This requires us to cultivate honesty within ourselves. We must be willing to confront unpleasant truths and take responsibility for our actions. It's important to recognize that many of our life's problems stem from our own behavior. When we reach this level of self-awareness and accountability, we start to influence our thought processes positively. Our minds not only process current information but also store memories. By being honest with ourselves and acknowledging our mistakes, we can start shaping our mental coordinator in a more constructive direction. Essentially, it's about being truthful with ourselves, accepting our flaws, and learning from our experiences. This self-awareness and honesty are crucial for personal growth and developing a healthy mindset. A crucial part of a computer is its memory. It's like a storage place where data is kept safe. Similarly, our minds have a memory bank too. This special place helps us remember important moments from our lives whenever we need to. Even events that didn't seem big at the time can become meaningful symbols in our memory. Imagine you're using a computer. You save pictures, documents, and videos in different folders so you can find them later. Our memory works a bit like that. It holds on to things we've experienced, learned, or felt. Sometimes these memories pop up when we least expect them. They can make us smile, laugh, or even feel sad. When we're young, we might not fully understand why certain moments are important. But as we grow older and learn more about the world, those memories can take on new meanings. They become like puzzle pieces that fit together to create a clearer picture of who we are and what matters to us. For example, think about a time when you helped a friend without expecting anything in return. At that moment, it might have felt like a simple act of kindness. But later, as you reflect on it, you realize how much it meant to both you and your friend. That memory becomes a symbol of empathy and friendship in your mind's memory bank. Our memory doesn't just store facts and events. It also holds on to emotions, sensations, and insights. This is why certain smells, sounds, or sights can instantly transport us back to a specific moment in time. It's like our memory bank has a unique filing system that categorizes everything we experience. By revisiting past experiences stored in our memory, we can gain valuable insights and information. However, this process requires us to overcome the belief that we are always right and incapable of making mistakes. It's about recognizing that we are fallible and being open to learning from our past experiences, even if they initially seemed insignificant. Often we know what's right and wrong, but we don't dwell on it too much. We tend to avoid judging ourselves when we make mistakes. However, our minds work like a computer, processing various streams of information. Some of these are like movies playing in a theater, vivid and clear. Others are symbolic, carrying deeper meanings. There's also information that's not useful or even trash. To solve a problem effectively, we need to sift through all this information, combining what's relevant and discarding what's not. It's like putting together puzzle pieces to get a complete picture of the situation. This process requires us to be thoughtful and discerning, using our intellect to sort through the evidence and arrive at a comprehensive understanding of the issue at hand. As information enters our memory bank, it shapes our long-term decisions and attitudes. We don't just react based on what's happening in the moment. Instead, we draw from past experiences stored in our memory. This allows us to consider the bigger picture rather than just instant likes or dislikes. For instance, we can recall past events, emotions, and lessons learned. This can lead to either holding on to grudges indefinitely or reflecting on the consequences of doing so over time, realizing that it doesn't benefit us. Our memory serves as a reservoir of symbols from the past that guide us in understanding the present and planning for the future. By learning from our experiences and using this knowledge wisely, we can make more informed decisions and build a better future for ourselves. Life flows continuously without clear breaks between past, present, and future. When we overly categorize time, we risk overlooking the lessons and experiences stored in our memories and the potential of our aspirations. It's essential for our minds to function harmoniously across all aspects. Zen philosophy emphasizes freeing the mind from strong attachments to temporary things, which are ever-changing and fleeting. This detachment allows for greater clarity and focus on what truly matters in life. It encourages us to appreciate the present moment without being overly fixated on material or transient desires. Zen philosophy aims to help individuals regain the basic common sense they had originally. It encourages discipline to avoid being misled by false beliefs or doctrines. Simply finding an opinion in a book that temporarily satisfies us doesn't make it true. The Zen approach is simple and doesn't tolerate self-deception. It challenges us to confront reality honestly or acknowledge when we're unable to do so. This attitude promotes clarity and authenticity in our understanding of ourselves and the world around us. By understanding reality clearly, life becomes simpler. Many ancient Greek philosophers like Diogenes and Socrates advocated for a simple way of living. They believed that avoiding hidden motives when observing others helps to escape problems. If you have a strong foundation of integrity within yourself, you'll recognize integrity in everything around you, even if you don't always agree with it. Integrity can serve as a warning, a reward, or a consequence, but it's always honorable, honest, and unavoidable. When we start understanding certain things, we stop battling ourselves. We don't blame life for our hardships anymore. We let go of hatred towards others, and we start moving away from the strong influence of material possessions. A person following Zen principles isn't usually obsessed with owning things. Many wise people from Eastern traditions and Western monks have chosen to live in poverty. They avoid possessions because they know that material things can harm one's character. Whatever we possess, we must learn to use it wisely. Otherwise, we risk misusing or abusing it. By not being overly attached to possessions, we can focus more on inner growth and meaningful experiences. This mindset allows us to cultivate qualities like contentment, gratitude, and simplicity, which are essential for a fulfilling life. To turn something negative into something positive requires understanding and introspection. It involves tapping into not just our intellect, but also our emotions to identify what went wrong and how to make it right. Even in worldly matters, the Mahayana school of Buddhism didn't advocate a monastic lifestyle for everyone. According to Buddhist philosophy, only those who don't need a monastic life should pursue it. A person ready for monastic life is someone who has already mastered life's challenges, learned valuable lessons, and has a strong sense of integrity. They've shown they can navigate daily life smoothly and don't use monasticism as an escape from difficulties. Using monasticism to avoid problems is self-deception and goes against the natural flow of life. Living a simple life means not feeling like you're losing out on anything. It's about realizing through personal experience that what you accumulate can be seen as losses, and what you let go of can be considered gains. Philosophy often guides individuals in this understanding. This doesn't necessarily mean someone has to become poor or go without basic needs. They can still live comfortably, happily, and prosperously as long as they don't let possessions control them. It's about finding a balance where material things don't overshadow what truly matters in life, such as relationships, personal growth, and contentment. When we prioritize possessions over integrity, it can lead to various challenges as our mind processes these conflicting priorities. If we are attentive, we may notice these difficulties manifesting as we seek or pay attention. However, if we are not attentive, our mind might create excuses to justify repeating the same mistake. Dealing with the complexities of our mind requires a high level of integrity. It's crucial to address this aspect sincerely and honestly. Some might even argue that cultivating integrity within ourselves should be our primary focus, akin to a religious conversion. This emphasizes the importance of aligning our values and actions, ensuring that integrity guides our decisions and behaviors. Many people think that the body can be changed through baptism, but the mind also needs transformation. It must be guided back to a strong moral code and learn to acknowledge its mistakes. This requires discipline and repentance for its foolish actions. The mind needs guidance from someone or something that is both honorable and skilled in using the mind effectively. This is where the analogy of the computer comes in. A computer is a powerful tool that can perform various tasks within a mechanical framework. However, it is only valuable when a human operates it. Similarly, our minds are like computers that need the direction and guidance of a wise and honorable influence to function properly. Without this guidance, our minds can become aimless and ineffective, leading to wasted potential and unfulfilled purpose. Therefore, it's essential to seek guidance and mentorship to help us navigate life's challenges and make meaningful contributions. In the midst of life's complexities, it's important to identify the essence of our humanity and the influence it has on our actions. Without understanding this, we'll likely face ongoing challenges. Therefore, it's crucial to recognize that beyond our thoughts and emotions, there's a deeper aspect of ourselves: the operator. This operator represents the core value of our existence. By acknowledging and tapping into this deeper power within us, we can navigate life with greater clarity and purpose. It's about realizing that we're more than just our thoughts or reactions. We have the capacity to make conscious decisions and shape our behavior based on our true values and principles. This understanding empowers us to lead a more meaningful and fulfilling life. Throughout history, many mystics, philosophers, and experts in esoteric and metaphysical teachings have pondered this issue deeply. In Western mysticism, a common belief is that the heart should guide the mind. It's believed that a kind and loving heart has the power to influence the mind because it prioritizes values. Love is seen as more powerful than hate in this context. Hate is considered a mental aspect, while love is seen as a spiritual force. The idea is that when our hearts are filled with love and positivity, they can guide our thoughts and actions towards kindness, compassion, and understanding. This philosophy emphasizes the importance of nurturing a loving heart to lead a fulfilling and harmonious life. When our feelings of hatred grow, it's often because our minds keep replaying memories of our past sufferings, particularly those caused by specific individuals who have deeply impacted us. These memories can linger because our minds constantly revisit them. The solution to this cycle is to find an operator within ourselves that can counteract or minimize the mind's negative influence. This operator, which lies at the core of our being, is the heart. The heart, in this context, represents our capacity for love, empathy, and forgiveness. By nurturing a loving and compassionate heart, we can soften the impact of negative thoughts and emotions generated by our minds. This philosophy suggests that prioritizing love and understanding within ourselves can lead to a more peaceful and harmonious inner life. The heart is more than just a physical organ receiving messages. It holds a unique power that the mind lacks. Unlike the mind, which gathers information from external sources, the heart releases insights from within. What emanates from the heart feels like it's connected to the essence of life itself. Conversely, thoughts from the mind often feel tied to sources of conflict and trouble. These contrasting perspectives can only be harmonized through a deep commitment to mystical experiences or through interpretation guided by such experiences. In essence, embracing the wisdom of the heart alongside intellectual understanding can lead to a more balanced and insightful way of experiencing life. When we allow our hearts to guide us, our minds can change for the better. The mind can learn to regulate its own thoughts and attitudes over time. For instance, after years of harboring negative feelings towards someone, a spiritual awakening or moment of forgiveness can suddenly shift our perspective. In that moment, love or the soul takes control, overshadowing the mind. This shift in control reminds us that the mind is secondary to the heart. Without the heart's constant flow of life-giving energy, the mind wouldn't exist, just as a physical brain wouldn't function without the heart pumping life throughout the body. Understanding the heart's leadership over the mind is a valuable lesson we're still learning. The heart provides moral guidance and ethical principles that help us use our minds in positive ways. Many mystics have realized over time that as our inner life develops and becomes enlightened, the intellect's influence diminishes. The mind doesn't have to be a constant source of temptation. It can be contained within a larger, more meaningful context. When the heart takes the lead, the mind starts to interpret sensory perceptions differently. For example, instead of a sensory perception prompting thoughts like, "I'll have alcohol today," the mind, under the heart's guidance, begins to see the goodness in things. It shifts from negative or impulsive reactions to more thoughtful and positive responses. This shift highlights the importance of aligning our thoughts with the values and wisdom of our hearts. It leads to a more balanced and fulfilling way of living, where our minds serve as tools for constructive and ethical decision-making. The heart says, "No, not today," and the mind accepts it. It's important for the heart to take the lead, but the challenge lies in understanding how the heart should lead. Unlike the mind, which relies heavily on tangible and physical things such as scientific research and education, the heart navigates a more complex path. While the mind excels in acquiring knowledge and expertise in various fields, there's no skill or discovery that can prevent our eventual mortality. Everything we possess or learn during our lifetime will eventually be left behind. The information we gather and the accomplishments we achieve are temporary and subject to change or improvement. This realization highlights the ephemeral nature of worldly pursuits and emphasizes the importance of seeking deeper, enduring values that transcend material possessions or intellectual achievements. On the contrary, the heart possesses a unique essence that sets it apart from the mind. It's directly linked to the source of physical life, containing a potential for immortality and harboring spiritual integrity within its core. Unlike the tangible and observable aspects of life studied by scientists, the life force within the heart remains invisible and beyond scientific measurement. This invisibility makes it challenging to discuss or record accurately using conventional means like computers, which rely on visible data and mechanical processes. The heart's vitality stems from a force that transcends mechanical explanations. It operates on a level far above and beyond what can be perceived or understood by physical instruments. As the heart emerges as the core of our reality, it embarks on a quest that resonates with everyone's deepest desires in this world, the pursuit of happiness. We all seek happiness, but according to Eastern mysticism, true happiness stems from being morally upright and aligned with our inner values. No matter how enticing or thrilling pursuing selfish goals may seem initially, they don't lead to lasting happiness. While achieving personal goals may bring temporary excitement, it's short-lived and often followed by challenges and difficulties. The challenge we face is figuring out how to live in harmony with the laws of life and rise above our personal desires. Many individuals are willing to sacrifice their own happiness for a greater cause, but this mindset is not widespread. For most people, going against their physical desires is incredibly difficult and not something they are eager to confront. Living a life that transcends personal desires requires a great deal of effort and self-discipline. It involves prioritizing values such as compassion, integrity, and altruism over immediate gratification and self-indulgence. While some individuals are able to make these sacrifices, it remains a significant challenge for the majority of people. This reluctance stems from the inherent hardships and discomfort associated with going against the impulses of our physical existence. Adding to the complexity of this perspective is the fact that life's end is shrouded in invisibility. Once we depart from this earthly existence, the physical aspects of life come to a halt. Our bodies no longer function, and even computers would cease to operate without input. This transition into the unknown afterlife remains abstract and mysterious for many, leading them to prioritize their immediate desires and ambitions in the visible world. As a result, people often prioritize fulfilling their tangible desires and ambitions over contemplating the mysteries of the unseen realm. This inclination towards the visible and familiar can make it challenging to focus on spiritual growth or introspection. However, there is a potential solution to this dilemma. By tapping into the power of the heart and nurturing our spiritual understanding, we can enhance our ability to navigate these complexities. The heart holds the key to a deeper understanding of life's mysteries and can guide us towards a more fulfilling and meaningful existence. Developing a connection with our inner selves and embracing spiritual values can offer a sense of purpose and direction amid life's uncertainties. Observing the world around us, both in the present and throughout history, it becomes evident that something is amiss. This problem stems from a lack of genuine affection and kindness. Nations harbor animosity towards each other. Individuals are immersed in a world of constant pressures and rivalries, and there is a pervasive sense of competition. Countries often exploit and invade others, and despite discussions of peace, the threat of war looms large. The physical world appears to be in turmoil, primarily because the simple yet profound virtue of honest kindness has been neglected and forgotten. So, according to Zen philosophy, if you truly want to understand life's rules, you can take a cue from Lao Tzu, who meditated under a tree in China, or find a peaceful spot like a noble's estate. Just observe. Observe the birds, the flowers, the sunlight, the growth of plants, the fruits, and all aspects of nature. Pay attention to storms too. While storms can be scary and seem harsh at first, they often bring a cleansing effect to the earth. What appears cruel or dangerous initially can turn out to be beneficial in the long run. There's much to learn by simply observing the natural world around us. In nature, as Lao Tzu discovered, we can find the foundations and traces of wisdom. This understanding was woven into a mystical philosophy by the Zen practitioners. Zen philosophy is about a calm self-control that doesn't require force. It's an effortlessness achieved through relaxed firmness, where we prevent the mind from getting agitated. By disciplining the mind in this way, we can direct it to focus on what we desire and observe what we choose, rather than allowing it to lead us into constant troubles. Zen teaches us to find peace within ourselves and in our interactions with the world around us. It's a philosophy of harmonizing with nature and embracing simplicity. The Zen practitioners strive to eliminate sources of problems from their lives in a calm manner. They believe, similar to Buddhism, that achieving enlightenment is up to each person. Each individual must take responsibility for their own spiritual growth. While this may seem challenging, it's also fundamentally fair that we work to overcome the difficulties we created due to our own errors. It's about personal accountability and growth, acknowledging our faults and striving to improve ourselves through our own efforts. In Zen philosophy, each individual must take on the role of their own teacher and guide. However, they are also bound by a universal cosmic order that applies to everyone without exception. This means that the mind's duty is to study the symbols of the infinite that are revealed in the finite world. By engaging in this practice, one can slowly come to understand the intentions of the unseen but unavoidable forces that govern existence. Essentially, it's about learning to navigate life's deeper meanings and truths through personal reflection and observation of the world around us. When the mind honestly embraces the evidence from different senses and faculties, and when it can synchronize and align them, it leads to a state akin to a symbolic representation of divinity. This alignment and harmony with universal laws bring an individual closest to experiencing the presence of God, or whatever one considers as the divine force. In Buddhist philosophy, this divine presence is not viewed as a person, but as a program or plan. It represents the principle of existence, highlighting that everything we perceive is interconnected, and stems from a single source. This understanding underscores the interconnectedness of all aspects of life and emphasizes the importance of harmonizing with the natural order. It's about recognizing the unity in diversity, where each part contributes to the whole and reflects the underlying essence of existence. This perspective encourages individuals to seek alignment with these universal principles, fostering a deeper connection with the essence of life itself. One approach to understanding this universal life is through a cosmotheistic perspective. This viewpoint allows us to perceive creation as an embodiment of the creative power, viewing the universe as eternal and infused with every imaginable faculty, power, and aspect. This eternal principle operates with mathematical precision, adhering to natural laws as the very creator and essence of nature itself. As we delve deeper into understanding these aspects, we gain the ability to challenge the incorrect teachings of our own minds. We may discover that it becomes easier to have faith in goodness when we realize that the very essence of life is inherently good. Goodness isn't just a state of being, it's an unavoidable reality. Everything that exists is bound by this principle, and in the grand scheme of nature, everything ultimately gravitates towards goodness, because nothing in nature goes to waste or is lost forever. In this process, a practitioner of Zen starts by reducing their desires, aiming to achieve a state of inner peace, contemplating the realities of life, and gradually realizing the immense power they possess within. This power has often remained untapped because it has been subjugated by the mind. For instance, someone may believe that becoming wealthy is crucial, and in pursuit of that goal, they might overlook other important aspects of life. Similarly, if a person harbors hatred towards someone, they may feel compelled to act on that hatred, causing harm to the person they despise. An antisocial individual might seek to dismantle society, while a religious fanatic might resort to persecuting those who follow different beliefs. These actions are all rooted in mental distortions. They arise when an individual relinquishes control over their life and allows their mind to dominate their actions completely. The mental coordinator can sometimes persuade a person that certain actions are justified. For instance, it might convince someone that engaging in wars or long-standing feuds is righteous because they have historical significance. Another example is the belief that one has the right to kick others off land because they were there first. However, these are all strategies and schemes that could be resolved peacefully and without causing harm through simple acts of kindness. The problem often lies in personal ambitions. People tend to prioritize their own desires over the common good. This conflict between ambition and kindness is something we must address. While most of us may not be directly involved in creating militant programs, we can still make a difference in our daily lives. When we notice a negative mood or urge, we can pause and reflect on its origin. Is it driven by a hidden desire? Do we feel compelled to act simply because of our mood? For example, if we want to say something hurtful about someone else, do we have to say it? Our minds often rationalize such actions by citing past grievances or perceived injustices. We may think it's justified to respond harshly because someone else did the same to us. This mindset of an eye for an eye is deeply ingrained in us from years of conditioning, starting from childhood education. We are taught to defend ourselves aggressively and to believe that we are superior to others in some way. This mindset persists through higher education, leading to a disconnect from reality and, in some cases, mental exhaustion at a young age. By examining these conditioned responses and practicing kindness and empathy, we can gradually shift away from harmful patterns of behavior. In today's education system, we are often pushed into adopting attitudes and pursuing careers that might not suit us. The focus is heavily on achieving success, which is seen as the ultimate goal in life. However, this obsession with success can lead to a paradoxical situation where we become failures in broader aspects of life. We lose sight of important values and end up living in a narrow world that is transient and fleeting. Our education system emphasizes adapting to the current generation's demands, which are unique and may never be replicated. We struggle to break free from the pressures of our environment. Yet deep within us lies a powerful force that transcends external influences. This inner power represents the true essence of life, guiding us toward fulfilling our purpose. However, many of us lack the courage or insight to tap into this potential. It's essential for schools to incorporate courses that delve into contemplative philosophy and explore values beyond mere material success. Individuals need to learn about their inner lives and the inherent values they possess. We are not here merely to chase after personal gain or financial stability. We are here to discover and unleash our unique talents and contribute positively to society. While some individuals may seem more naturally gifted due to past experiences or reincarnation, everyone has something valuable to offer in their own way. Education should encourage individuals to discover and nurture their innate genius and skills, fostering a sense of purpose and contribution to the greater good, rather than just avoiding personal financial struggles. Having some moments of quiet reflection can be immensely beneficial. In certain countries like Thailand, many young people choose to enter the priesthood after finishing school. They often become Buddhist monks or nuns for a temporary period, typically 1 or 2 years, during which they complete their education. This phase allows them to explore and experience inner peace and tranquility, leading an austere and disciplined life for this duration. Although this commitment is not permanent, it serves as an essential part of their personal development journey. Living in a state of simplicity and poverty during this time, they have very little material possessions and can only accept basic necessities like food in a bowl, which must be given to them by others. This humble lifestyle helps break down arrogance and opens them up to new perspectives and experiences. As they travel through different areas as mendicants, they interact with various people, learn about their thoughts, lifestyles, emotions, and values. This exposure to diverse perspectives is a profound and enriching experience, akin to a pilgrimage or a dedicated practice period. Implementing a similar practice or requirement could be highly valuable in other societies as well. Imagine if individuals graduating from our institutions were encouraged to dedicate a year to a pilgrimage of personal growth, or were mandated to practice their skills in real-world settings. Such experiences can significantly contribute to their holistic development and help them gain a deeper understanding of themselves and the world around them. Upon engaging in service work in a foreign land or within different societal strata without expecting any payment, an individual may undergo a significant shift in their perspective on life. Many individuals who have participated in initiatives like Peace Corps work have been deeply impacted by their experiences and have gained profound insights into various aspects of life. This kind of service often leads to a broader understanding of different cultures, socio-economic conditions, and human experiences, ultimately shaping a more empathetic and compassionate worldview. The Zen approach emphasizes inner peace and personal improvement rather than the pursuit of wealth or fame. It suggests that individuals should use their talents for the benefit of humanity instead of focusing solely on personal success. While it acknowledges that people deserve compensation for their work, it discourages the obsession with amassing vast wealth as a measure of success. True success, according to this perspective, lies in one's ability to make a meaningful contribution to the welfare of others and to be of service to the community. History doesn't preserve as much information about those who achieve material success compared to those who attain mental, moral, spiritual, and ethical success. It focuses more on individuals who rise above the challenges and corruptions of their era. In our everyday lives, we can strive to adopt a more disciplined and sincere approach, not out of desperation but with genuine intent, to lead a better life. This entails making conscious efforts to improve our mindset, morals, spirituality, and ethical conduct. We have the power to control what we expose ourselves to, especially in our entertainment choices. We can choose not to attend events or watch programs that we know are not good for us. Similarly, we can be mindful of what we read, focusing on books that inspire and offer helpful insights rather than getting caught up in publications focused on scandal and gossip. Everything we accumulate in this life will eventually be left behind for the next generation to explore and learn from. However, there's something deeper within us that transcends mere memories. Beyond our conscious mind's recollections lies a universal memory that connects all of us. This universal memory is the continuity of our soul, which journeys from one life to the next, aiding in our growth and development. Each lifetime is like a day or night in the grand scheme of our existence. We are continually learning, progressing, and evolving, akin to attending school day after day. Yet our soul holds the vast repository of everything we've experienced and learned as individuals over countless lifetimes. This knowledge isn't accessed through specific events or memories, but rather through internal feelings, convictions, hopes, beliefs, and ideals that arise from a deeper wellspring within us. While our mind is limited to perceiving this current life, our soul and heart are connected to a larger tapestry of universal existence. It's this profound connection that shapes our understanding and guides us on our journey through life's experiences. Deep within us, we often feel a strong urge towards kindness, charity, thoughtfulness, and virtue. These feelings are not fleeting. They are the result of lessons learned over a long period. These virtues are like seeds we plant and nurture, continually growing and shaping our character. However, it's crucial to understand that the ultimate goal is to simplify our lives. Simplifying our life means gradually shifting our focus from external factors to internal values. When our life is solely dictated by external influences and the opinions of others, we lack true enlightenment. But as we gain wisdom, this dynamic changes. We start to lead from within, guided by the principles in our hearts and minds. As this internal leadership strengthens, we become more aware of the shortcomings of our materialistic society. We see through the fallacies of prioritizing external possessions and validations. Instead, we prioritize nurturing our inner virtues and living authentically from within. This all boils down to a fundamental issue: the need for re-education of the mind. This process typically occurs after formal schooling, as the education system alone does not adequately prepare individuals for this task. Schooling may instill orderliness and discipline in learning specific subjects, but it falls short in teaching individuals how to retrain their minds. However, the discipline acquired over years of education can serve as a starting point for individuals to recognize the need to clear their own confusion and simplify their approach to life. One effective method for personal growth is to maintain a record of our inner conflicts and contradictions. By documenting our decisions on certain matters and revisiting them after some time, perhaps 6 months later, we can assess whether those decisions were truly beneficial. I know someone who has made several mistakes over the years, but refuses to acknowledge them. Even when faced with undeniable evidence of their errors, they find ways to deflect blame and protect their self-image of infallibility. Many of us tend to follow this pattern, but it's essential to realize that our inner life should guide our outer actions. Until now, our lives have often been shaped by historical events and material achievements, but true growth comes from introspection and learning from our experiences. As we reflect on history, we often see ourselves as the heirs of ancient civilizations like the Romans and Greeks. We study their stories of struggles and challenges with sincere consideration. At times we may even recognize parallels between their difficulties and our own, but this realization often remains superficial. However, if an individual reaches a stage in life where they take charge of their own destiny, instead of being dictated by their thoughts, remarkable progress can be made that holds genuine worth and usefulness. Taking control of one's life involves confronting various challenges and acknowledging mistakes. It's not an easy journey, and there will be hurdles to overcome. Yet, amidst this process, a person can experience a gradual sense of achievement. They start to understand their own importance and contribution to the world's unfolding events. This shift from passive observation to active engagement brings about a deeper understanding of personal significance and value. It's highly beneficial and important for each person to pursue a contemplative way of life, as practiced by Zen practitioners in a simple manner. They sit quietly and aim to clear their minds of accumulated distractions and negativity. They strive to detach from political pressures and the constant negative narratives around them. Instead, they engage in quiet contemplation of the universal order and their role within it. Through this practice, they gradually realize their purpose is to serve and add value to others' lives. Even if they have a deeper understanding of these concepts, the services they provide are evident and appreciated by those they help. For instance, someone who assists those in need may do so from an internal motivation, but the impact and assistance they provide are clearly visible to those receiving it. Thus, there's tangible evidence of their intent and the positive outcomes they achieve through their actions. Whenever we encounter a genuinely noble display of human endeavor, it reflects a deeper intention within the soul. This inner desire seeks enlightenment, values and solutions that originate from within ourselves rather than external sources. It's crucial to understand that we are not just shaped by our past experiences. We also inherit boundless creativity in the present moment. Each moment of our lives presents an opportunity to be creative, constructive, and a source of support and inspiration for others. We possess the potential to generate positive change and contribute meaningfully to the world around us through our actions and intentions. The soul holds a beauty that is unique to itself. It may not encompass the absolute beauty we often seek, but it is a remarkable creation of mental and emotional achievement. As we engage in acts that resonate with the soul's beauty, we come to realize that true artistry lies not in painting or sculpting, but in embodying the art of living. By internalizing and expressing the essence of living gracefully, we can address many of the challenges we face. However, it's important to understand that the mind should not be our sole guide. It can sometimes lead us astray. It can offer assistance akin to the mythical figure Lucifer, bringing both help and potential trouble. Yet if we gradually transform the mind into a vessel of nobility, idealism, and integrity, it can become a valuable ally in our journey. This transformation allows the mind to serve us wonderfully, contributing positively to our endeavors and aspirations. The mind is like a tool. It can either serve us well or cause us harm. When we allow our minds to control us completely, it can lead us toward destruction. However, if we learn to use our minds as instruments, much like a computer that we control with our personal consciousness, they can be incredibly useful. The key is not to mistake our minds for the ultimate power within us. Instead, we should aim to reform and train our minds to serve us and our world positively. This involves cultivating qualities like integrity, selflessness, dedication, and clear thinking. Common sense, which is essentially the coordination of our six senses, becomes stronger when we feed it with correct and honorable experiences from life. By working on these aspects, we can become adept operators of our own mental computers. This means avoiding the pitfalls of improper use that lead to trouble, and instead harnessing the mind's potential to be a constant source of support and guidance. Ultimately, each individual has the power to master their mind, just as they are the rightful rulers of their own bodies. It's important to recognize this authority and strive to use our mental faculties in ways that benefit not just ourselves, but also those around us. Thank you for listening.